Hell yeah.
What is going on, everyone? We are here with another episode of the Spotlight series hosted by yours truly, ACK. Y'all know the drill at this point is every week we got new artists on here. We're talking about their stories through music. We've had so many talented artists on here, whether they're up and coming or if they're a viral sensation. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm just having a blast doing this now. I mean, over 60 episodes, just talking to artists from all over the place and learning their story. It's just so unique and so valuable, and it opens a lot of different doors and makes a lot of different connections, because in the music business it's so hard to kind of make those connections if you're doing things on your own, and if you don't have those people there to open those doors with you and be on the other side, then it's difficult sometimes. So this spotlight series has really just generated a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'm super excited. This week have super talented artists on here. He has over 600 K followers on TikTok. Super talented artist. Hazel Bloom. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I truly appreciate you just reaching out and having me on the show. It's honestly a blessing just to even be a part of this, honestly.
No, absolutely. No, I mean, trust me, it always means a lot to me. I sound like a broken record every episode, but just for artists to take time out of their day to do this interview and talk about their story through music, it's just always a really cool and unique thing to do.
No, absolutely. And like we were talking about before, it's very hard to meet like-minded musicians or even just anyone who's into music. So just to be on a show and talk about it and like get some creative flow going is just always something I enjoy.
No, exactly. And it's always super cool too. Just mention it before we kind of hop into the questions. Obviously, we were told when I reached out on Instagram, I didn't even realize that you were originally from Massachusetts. And obviously, a lot of people know I'm from Boston, Mass. And then you said you were out from the Worcester area, correct?
Yeah,
That's
around
about
the
like about an hour, I think. Yeah, about an hour from here, probably, give or take. So it's always cool to kind of meet those people that originate from the same area. But now, obviously, you're out in LA now doing your thing, right?
Yeah, I am right now, yeah.
Yeah. No, so it's always awesome. I think we were kind of talking about it before the interview. Obviously, you're a Bruins fan. Don't like the Bruins, but besides that, let's go Caps. Always have to just throw that in there when people are hockey fans. Um,
Absolutely. I mean, they had a good game last night.
no, they did. They did. Um, so kind of hopping into the questions, we'll just start with the basic of basics, like I always do, is where did your journey start? How did singing come about for you? Where did playing instruments and stuff like that? Just obviously some people start at an early age, and I was kind of talking to you before because you were asking how everything came about for me before we started this interview. Is like for me it started in 2018, but then for some people they start singing and playing the minute they're born, like the day that they're born they start humming tunes. So kind of how did everything start for you?
So I guess this is like always a story I like come back to when I think about it because I feel like it's the most relevant. But I can't. I think I had to have been maybe like 11 or so, and like it's such like a cheesy story, but like my mom bought me like a what's that CD compilation? Like the Now That's Music. That I
Mhm.
don't know if you ever heard of that CD,
Yep.
but it was like Now 11 or something, Now whatever. But I heard Ocean Avenue by Yellow Card on it for the first
Mhm.
time. And like I was just chilling in my backyard with like the CD player, not an iPhone, way back in the day. And I just heard that song for the first time, and it was like I guess what you call it was like a euphoric like moment for me. It was like wow, like the passion in this song and like the emotion in the song, like how that like made me like know in my like what I wanted to do with life. Like I want to make music. I want to make like other people feel this way the way I'm feeling with music. So that's kind of like what inspired me. So then I was like 13. I started playing bass, and I was lucky enough like I lived in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids, and everyone just so happened to be into music as well, and
Mhm.
like the same music at that. So we like ended up starting like all these bands. I've been in like bands my whole life since like 13 to now. So I guess I was just really blessed to have a bunch of people that were into music, and like were able to start music and do all that. Because I know like talking to like a bunch of these people like that I meet nowadays, they grew up on their own. they grew up maybe in like not around not a maybe they didn't have like a big school or something. I feel like it's hard to meet like musicians,
Yeah.
which I was so grateful to have. So
Mhm.
I guess I didn't even know that was even a hardship for people. So I guess that's basically how it started. Long story short, that's how it started. I've been in bands like my whole life,
Mhm.
but I always get like shit for it because I grew up playing bass. I never sang. Like I was a terrible singer. I still don't think I'm like a great singer, but I'm trying to work on my self confidence here. But I didn't even start singing until I was like 15.
Okay.
Then I would try stuff, and then I've been just like I always like sing on my own just because I enjoy doing it and how it feels. So like
Yeah.
I guess I've been like singing on my own for the past like 10 or so years, and then
Mhm.
I started this project, Hazel Bloom, which was my first solo project ever. I've never sang, I've never wrote all my music before. I've never played all their instruments before. I was always just like the bassist. Everyone gets shit for being the bassist, but I would play bass. We would like write songs together. It would be a collaboration, and then I never knew what the guitar players were playing. I never knew like what the drummer was doing. So this is
Yeah.
like my first project where it's like all written by me solely.
Mhm.
So I guess that's a long story short. That's basically how I got started.
Yeah, no, and hey, man, that's awesome because, like I said, it doesn't matter how you start. It's just always unique to hear people's story because, like I said, some people start the day they were born, like they start singing nursery rhymes and stuff like that, and then some people, I've had a lot of artists on here that grew up in the church setting and they started in choir and stuff like that, and that's how they really pursued their music journey was by that. And then some people, trying to just think off the top of my head, shout out to Devin Gabriella. She actually self-taught herself how to sing, just at the age of, I think she was 13, 14 at the time. And she just said like one day she wanted to sing and she knows she had that ability. So she taught herself and then she became something and she did something for herself because that's what her passion was. So it's always cool to hear that story, and always ask that question. Kind of getting into the next question is talking about inspirations. Obviously you have a lot of great music out and obviously you probably listen to a lot of artists out there too to kind of some, because I know some days for me, when I'm stuck writing or I'm stuck producing and stuff, I'll go and listen to some of my people that inspire me. Like people know I'm a country boy at heart, so always got some Garth Brooks on there. Going to see him in concert, can't wait for that. But I know like Garth Brooks, Travis Tritt, even like Nickelback and Chris Daughtry for me too. Always some of my great influences that I love. So, who are some of your inspirations that you kind of really look up to in the music business?
So when I like first got into music, I was really into like the alternative like emo pop punk type of style. So like when I first started going off, I was in like pop punk bands for like a long time, and even like some hardcore bands. But I guess like what I said earlier, I guess Yellow Card was a huge influence on me just because I was like the first song, first band I listened to that I can recall really had a difference on me. And then I was into like Green Day. Taking Back Sunday was another huge one for me. Um, and then Brand New. So all that kind of similar genre. I don't know if you're familiar with the genre or those
No,
bands
I
at all.
trust me. I know a lot of different music. I don't like to, that's one thing, as I don't like to ever box myself into one genre. Like I'm open-minded to all kinds of music. So a lot of people say, "Oh, hey, do you like," when they mention something, they're like, "Oh, do you know this person?" I'm like, "Oh, I know this person, trust me." I do my research on a lot of music.
Awesome. Yeah, I do the same thing, but I just want to, I guess, clarify. But yeah, but for like my early years, for like I guess my teenage years, was all like those pop punk type styles, like My Chemical Romance. Obviously, I'm missing out a few, but those are like the style of bands I really looked up to and wanted to like portray because they really all seem like really down to earth. I know sometimes like if you go like really mainstream, like are they just acting because of the label or whatever? I mean, I'm not trying to quote anything. Like I guess that's just my perception. Maybe some are faker than more, or whatever. But they seem like real, like genuine musicians and people that are like doing it for the love of music and not just because they want like money and fame, all that. But that was like basically my start influences, and then I kind of progressed more to like more pop style. So I guess nowadays I really look up to the 1975. I like Quinn 92 a lot and Black Bear a lot.
Mhm.
So those are kind of like my inspirations, like present time, I guess.
Yeah. No, and that's awesome because it's just always really cool and unique because people have so many different tastes in music. So it's always cool to hear who people look up to. And then sometimes there's some artists that people connect with, and that's how it's cool because you kind of have the same inspiration, not obviously not the same inspirations as me when I'm looking up to people, but the same idea. Because when it comes to the presence of an artist and their storytelling aspect and stuff like that, that really people that connect with their audience is what draws me in a lot of the time. That people that are just genuine, because like you said, I mean, I've said this in numerous episodes, I'm not throwing shade at any big name artists up there or anything like
No,
that, but sometimes when you get that big and you elevate yourself that much, like you if you're signed to a record deal or something like that, the fame sometimes gets to people's heads. And I get it and I understand that, but that's why I think I draw more towards like these up and coming artists and stuff like that, because they're just so genuine and they just want to connect with their audience. They want to talk with the people and hear what the people want to hear. Because the end of the day, when it comes to songwriting, especially, and that's going to kind of get into the next question in a minute here, but is if people can write a song that connects with other people at the end of the day, like for me especially, if I can write a song that can help someone else down the road, that's what makes a great I think that's what makes a great songwriter.
yeah, no, I completely agree with all that whole like statement you just went off of. That's like exactly how I look at like the whole all of music and like what I'm listening to. Like that's what I guess what I'm subconsciously listening for, not like pointing out exactly, but
No,
that's what.
exactly. So kind of obviously talking about the songwriting process is getting into the next question. It's always my favorite question. I mean, I do love the fourth question, but this is always my second favorite question to ask because the creative process is so unique and it's so cool for so many different artists because people go by the system of songwriting, but then some people come on here and they say, I don't do anything that people normally do. And it's just always cool to hear how people really write a song because I've listened to a lot of your songs. Obviously, you're a super talented artist, and I love a lot of the songs. We're going to hear your song Life later in the interview, but I always have to quote him before I kind of really physically ask the question, and people probably get sick and tired of me quoting this. But shout out to Garrett Walker, who was on the show. The way he described the songwriting process is like it's like making a puzzle. Whether you have 500 or 1,000 piece puzzle, you have it all laid out in front of you, scrambled. You don't know where anything's going, and then slowly you start putting like the border together. You start working on the middle, and you figure out where these pieces are fitting and how they all go together. And by the end, you have this masterpiece. You have this something that you can hang up on the wall and cherish, or that's something that you can listen to for the rest of your life and you can share with other people. So my question obviously is at the end of the day, what is your creative process like when it comes to making a song?
No, but I relate to I'm sorry, Garrett Walker, is that what you said?
Yes.
Like
Yep.
I relate to that like a lot because I don't go like I have no like one uniform set process that I go to. I don't like start with instrumentals or whatever. Like it starts different every time. So like I guess it depends on like my mood completely because sometimes I'll just be like most I guess it happens mostly like when I'm about to go to bed, like your mind starts racing. That's mostly when I like start thinking of like cool like lyrics or relatable lyrics. So I start like jotting them down in a notebook or on like my iPhone or something for inspiration. So I guess that's kind of like how the lyrics start. They literally just pop up to me regardless, and I just write them down. So it could either start with like I either start with like a cool like maybe hook line that I think is cool. I'll maybe go off of and try to like write music to. So that's like one way. Other ways are like I hear like a cool song I'm inspired by, like a drop or whatever is pretty cool with that. I'm like, oh, that's sick. So then like I go and try to write something instrumental. So I guess it's like it's never uniform in piece every time. It's a puzzle piece every time. Like I'll have a vocal melody I like. I'll have a cool lyric line that I wrote down that I think is pretty cool. And other times I'll have like a cool instrumental piece I like other way. No, none of them are like any connected, but like
Yeah.
I start putting them all together and all. So yeah, there's no like set in stone, no rhyme or reason. Like I have things I like, I have things I don't like. Some things go together with others, and I kind of just try to put all ideas into one, see what works best, see what sounds the best, and that's basically how I guess it happens.
No, exactly. No, and I get that. I mean, obviously, you can probably relate to this, like you kind of just said. I mean, I know on my phone, and I know I have notepads just full of random ideas and like random voice memos and all that fun stuff. So
Yeah,
it's just always really cool and unique because, like, kind of like you, is like these things will just pop up to me in like the most randomest places. Like, I'll be in the car just driving, not even like I'll just be jamming, cruising around, and all of a sudden, like, these words will just come to me, and like I'll just be like, oh, like that's something that I can work on. Or my favorite place, and people think I'm crazy for this sometimes, is the shower. Like, stuff just comes to me in the shower sometimes.
yeah, for
And like
sure.
I'll just be sitting there because I'll be saying, like, I'll just be like, because I'm a big rhyme person when it comes to writing songs. So like
Yeah,
I'll just start rhyming different words and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, like, I kind of just put these words together, and I'm like, oh wow, this is something. And then obviously I don't have my phone in the shower. So then I gotta run out of the shower real quick and be like, okay, I gotta write this down or say this out loud. Um, but people just have so many unique and different ways that they create their music. So it's always amazing to ask that question and just see people's progress when it comes to making their music.
yeah. I think a lot of it for me is based on like my personal experience and like past experiences, because like all like if I have a line that I'm thinking, however, I'm like, whatever mood I'm in to make me write like that specific line is generally what I'm looking for out of the tone of like the music, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
if I think it's like a sad line from like a past experience, I'll try to make it like sad music to fit into it. But I think mostly like I guess for example, like I was just like on a drive somewhere. It was like dark and like I was just thinking about like my past like friendships I had, like my high school experiences and how I like miss that.
Yeah.
So like I wrote down a line which I thought was pretty cool and like specific to me. And then I kind of like fit that to like what would be an uplifting like song, I guess. So I guess that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. No, and it's always, it just, that's always a really cool and unique thing when it stuff comes like that. Cause I know a lot of my songwriting, I was telling you earlier, is the first song I ever wrote was about my grandfather passing away. And that's
Yeah.
where a lot of my music comes from, is past stuff and like emotions and stuff like that. Because I just feel like a lot of people relate to that kind of stuff. And it just always sounds crazy because like I think about a lot of the songs that I have, and they're all like sad and like not super depressing stuff, but like it's just like, you kind of like, for me, like I have that self thing. I'm like, these are really sad songs. Like, are people gonna like these? Like how is anyone gonna relate to these? But then you start sharing that stuff out there, and people relate to it so much, and it can help. Like I said, it can help other people out there going through that same situation.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's one thing like that I like kind of found. Like I think I've tried like every like style of music and like every I was always so focused on what people are gonna like and what should I write that people are gonna like. But what I found with like my upcoming songs is like the people are gonna find you. Like the people that relate to this, there's gonna be people that relate to it and like they're gonna find you. So you kind of just
exactly.
gotta like let it happen, put it out, and like it'll good things will happen. That's
No,
what I
exactly. I mean, hey, listen, I found your music, I found some of your stuff, and like I started listening to it, and I really felt some of the stuff that you were writing down in there. And that's why I ended up reaching out and talking to you about all this stuff, because I started listening to your music. And this is going to lead into the next question that I'm about to ask, is when I first started listening to your music, I was like, I forget which song I fully started listening to, but I was listening to one of them. And then I was just sitting there listening, and I'm listening to the lyrics, I'm listening to the production and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's no one else that sounds like this guy. Like, I could put a playlist of thousands and thousands of artists on there, and I could pick you out of the lineup easily every time it comes on without even looking at the phone to see what song's playing. And with so many artists out there, there's thousands of artists in all kinds of genres trying to make it, whether it's country, rap, pop, rock, like millions of artists out there on TikTok, Instagram, just promoting their music and trying to make a name for themselves. And this is always the hardest question that I ask. And honestly, I don't even know if I could answer this question properly if anyone ever asked me, but is, at the end of the day, what makes you different compared to all these other artists out there? So what makes Hazel Bloom Hazel Bloom?
for first of all, I appreciate you saying that whole spiel in the beginning because like I appreciate like that you could pick me out from like anything, because I guess that's what everyone's going for essentially. You want to be picked out, you want to be recognized for what you do. So
Exactly.
I appreciate that for the first of all. But I guess going back to my previous answers, like, well, everyone's unique in their own way. Like everyone is completely different. You're going through your own lifestyle. You write on obviously your past lifestyles, or maybe make up stories. So I guess that's what makes everyone themselves in purpose to like their songwriting.
Mhm.
But for me, I guess because like I said before, I've tried like a lot of different music styles. I have a huge background in like the pop punk alternative rock type scene. So that's just like ingrained in me, like musically. And then for the past like 5 years, I really wanted to branch out doing like more pop music because as I said like before, I grew up in bands. I grew up playing bass. I grew up like having like very little confidence in my music ability, not because I was a bassist,
Right.
but but because like that's I grew up doing just one thing. I only played bass. I only like sang a little bit. I didn't really know how to play guitar, how to write like poems or even like songwriting at all
Yeah.
for lyrics. So I grew up like thinking I had to be in like a pop punk band. That's all I could do. And then when my like the last band I was ever in kind of ended, I was like, I know I want to do music. No one that I was around, I guess, had the same mindset as me, like that they could make it in music. But I knew like that's what I wanted to do. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go at it. So I started like learning a bunch of music and just like playing guitar and doing all that by myself, which led into like all this pop music. So since I was in like the pop music scene, I thought I couldn't do that anymore because it was just me. I was a solo artist. Like
Yeah.
you see all these bands, they have 5 people in there.
Mhm.
This is a long spiel, but I'm sorry. I'm
No, you're
sorry.
good. You're
We're getting
good.
to the point. But since I was a solo artist, I didn't think I could be like a pop punk artist, kind of like I guess what that guy Jaden on TikTok is doing now, and I guess Machine Gun Kelly, he's a solo artist. He's doing pop punk now, but I
Yeah.
didn't think I could do that because I didn't know anything about producing or music or anything.
Yeah.
So like I started like dabbling in more of the pop music, like Quinn 92 and Black Bear and all that, 1975, but whatever. So I was kind of like I didn't notice at the time I was kind of like influencing and ingraining like the pop punk alternative rock scene with pop music.
Yeah.
So then I just started writing, I guess, my own stuff, releasing stuff, and seeing what really, I guess, made myself unique. And then it just, I guess, ended up forming into. I would try to write like these mainstream pop songs, like I guess like a Kelly Clarkson song or something. But
Yeah.
since my like music taste is so ingrained in like the alternative rock scene, like the way I write and like the melodies I make, it's very what's the word? It's very, I guess, relevant is the word.
Mhm.
It like in my songwriting, like that is what I'm influenced by. Like I can't write like R&B flows. Like it doesn't come naturally to me.
Right.
Like I guess that's kind of what makes my music my music. Like it's influenced by a lot of pop melodies and alternative rock melodies, which makes, I guess, my universal sound. And then, like I said before, everyone's experiences are all different. I mostly write from like my past relationships, past like memories and all that. So that's like no one's writing the same stuff as me. It's about like the same subjects, but it's not exactly their experience. So
Exactly.
I just want to put that out. And like I said before, people definitely have the same experience as I do, and they're gonna relate to that. So I guess kind of what makes my music unique, I guess.
No, absolutely, man. And no, like I said, I mean, just hearing your music, I can just tell that like that rock, that like rock and stuff in the pop, like you infuse those two genres together. And that I think that's really what makes you unique and special, because just hearing those melodies and then hearing your vocals like to kind of come together in two different genres, it really just solidifies kind of who you are. And I think that's really what makes you super talented artist, and that's what really made me just like click with your music and just understand like who you are and what you're doing with your music.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, of course. So kind of getting into the last and final question here is talking about your future. I know for me, I don't know what the hell my future lies in, but I don't know where I'm going with my music. But what are your goals as an artist? Where do you want to go with your music? Obviously, you have a bunch of songs out now, but what else can we expect down the road from you?
So I actually have, I think like 8 or 9 like songs on like the back burner I'm waiting to release. So I'm going to plan to release like a new single in like 2 months or so. But my plan moving forward, like the end goal is I want to be a touring musician. That's the goal. Like that's what I'm gonna do. I've been trying to be a lot more like more positive, more like go getting. Because little side tangent, like I've been like I watch these like motivational stories, and I watch like a bunch of like Will Smith and Matthew McConaughey documentaries on like how to get where you want to be.
Yeah,
That's a besides the point. I'm trying to be like more like go get it, work hard, it'll pay off. The fans will find you, like the music will like get heard. But anyways, I'm trying to do more of that. I want to be a touring musician. So in the next like 5 years, hopefully I want to be like a fully touring musician. It's like it's not about like how many like monthly listeners I have, or if I want to be like a mainstream artist. Like that's not the point of what I want to do. Like what do I said back to like my starting story, like listening to Ocean Avenue by Yellowcard, how like that song made me feel in that moment.
mhm.
I want to make other people like feel that same way with the music I make. So that's the end goal. But I want to be a touring musician to hopefully aspire other people to do exactly what my whole life journey was. But I do have a bunch of songs set to come out. COVID obviously put a damper on that, like saving up marketing money for all that. But I have a bunch of songs I want to release over the next upcoming years. So that is the plan right now.
No, that's awesome, man. And honestly, that's just a great answer. And that's why I have people like you on this series, because you just want to relate with the fans and you just want to relate to people and you want to write about your experiences and just let it out there in the world. And that's, like I said earlier in the show, is something that just inspires me in songwriting, is just hearing those songs that can help other people and connect with those other people, emotion wise and mental wise and stuff like that, just because it's so powerful to have that connection with your audience and just with people. So especially with your music, I can't wait to hear some new music from you. And when you do start touring and stuff like that, I'll definitely be at a show for sure, 100%.
That
And
would be
I
insane.
just can't wait for big things to come from you, man.
Dude, thank you. But like I guess for another question, I guess I even found myself like worrying about this, but like worrying about how many streams you're getting, how many listeners you're getting, all these metrics that like don't matter. Like everyone's worried about the streams, money, how many followers they get, which I definitely fall into the same category sometimes. I always like
Yeah,
want to get bigger that way, but the whole point is just putting out your creative ideas and having people relate to them. And as long as you're doing that and like you can do what you want to do with your life as a living, like the money, the stats don't really matter. As long as you can do that, like that's all that matters to me.
exactly. No, exactly. No, and that's how I feel too. I'm on the same boat with you. And like I said, I'm definitely on this ride with you. And I know once people hear this interview, they'll definitely be on the ride with you as well. Um, so that kind of concludes all the questions that I had for today. Now getting into the good stuff, and my favorite part of the interview always is hearing a song from you, which we're going to listen to Life. So kind of before I play a little bit of that for everyone, if you want to just give us a little background story on how this specific song kind of came about.
Yeah, so this is personally my favorite song that I have out right now because like about this whole entire interview, like it's about my life story, how I basically came into music. And basically growing up, everyone tells you like you shouldn't do this, you should be safe, you should go get your accounting job, you should go to college, you should do all this. Everyone's telling you like what not to do to be safe, and it's like it's those people I feel like you gotta like get away from. You need to be like with the people that are uplifting and tell you to go for your dream. It's obviously not gonna be hard. I mean, it's not gonna be easy. I'm sorry, it's gonna be hard. But yeah, it's basically just about people telling you what you can't do, and basically telling them to fuck off. You're gonna do what you like. You're gonna do it. You're gonna find a way to get there. it's not going to be easy. You may fuck up during it, and which I certainly have done so much. But basically, follow your heart, do what you want. Like you can do anything you want. We only it's gonna be very cheesy, but like this is like a line from the song. Like the life, you only have one life. You might as well do exactly what you want. Which going back to my other thing, let me find the quote. I'm sorry, I really got to put this quote. Like I didn't realize how oh, where is it? I'm sorry if this takes a little bit.
No, you're good. No worries.
Like this comes back to like my personal journey. I'm trying to be like more accepting and like trying to be better with myself. But like I listen to Jim Carrey a lot because he's a good speaker. He has a lot of good quotes. Oh my god, where is it? Hold on. This fits exactly with what the song is about though, so I feel it might be nice. Oh, one sec. Let me just look it up quick.
No, you're good. No worries. Kind of just while you're looking it up real quick. Usually I wait till after the song, but if you want to just while you're looking it up, let us know where we can kind of follow you on social medias.
Yeah, so on any like social medias, like anything, my tag is Hazel Blue Music. So that's literally Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, literally anything. I'm literally I try to be everywhere and anywhere. I have a website, hazelbloomofficial.com. If you want to look at the website, I know people don't really look at websites. That's not really doesn't matter. But anyway, about that, for music, it's just Hazel Bloom on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever. Like if you type that in, like you should be able to find me anywhere.
No, that's straightforward and that's simple enough. And people definitely need to check him out. Super, super talented, like I said.
Dude, thank you very much. But I found the quote. It's from
perfect.
Jim Carrey. I wrote this song long before I even saw this quote or did anything, but it's a quote from him. You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance doing what you love. So that kind of like really stuck with me. Like you can work your fucking 9 to 5 accounting job, but if it's not what you want to do, you could get let go at any time, and like so you might as well go for what you want.
Exactly.
That's essentially what this song is about.
No, that's awesome, man. So kind of without further ado, let's take a little listen to Life by Hazel Bloom. Thinking back on everything I said I wanna do, yeah. Throwing out the doubts, I still have so much left to prove. I swear it's all love now. We started off as nothing. Maybe I'm a fuck up, that's me. Truthfully, I'm grateful every second I'm breathing, I'm okay. Thinking I'm making you got one shot, you better take it. We were just kids, living for the hell of it, flipping off the system, making that shit irrelevant. Don't know who the fuck you thought I was back then, you'll never see him again. It only happens once. And y'all always get mad at me, but I'm going to cut it off there because I want y'all to go listen to that full song, help him get some streams up. But I mean, listen, when I listened to that song for the first time, I was going through all your songs the other day, and like that one came on, and that chorus, like I was not expecting any of that. Like when that just came up, like that drew me right in, and I was just like, that's like one of the better songs I've heard in a while, like on this Spotlight series. And I think it started, what was it? Geez, this was probably like 7 or 8 episodes ago now. It was Kelly and Kat, their sisters from New York, and I had them on the show. And I mean, no disrespect to any artist. Every artist on the show is great and phenomenal, but they just started this whole new trend. Is like I've been getting chills from like every song that I've listened to for people that have been on the show. So it's either chills or go home at this point, and that's the new motto of the show. So if you don't give chills at the end with your song, then you're not allowed on the show and your show's not going to air. But that gave me chills. You passed the test, so we are
Dude,
all good.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
No, of course, man. Like I said, that's a hell of a song. All your songs are great, and I was just super excited to have you on, and I just appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk about your story through music.
Dude, absolutely. Like the same goes this way as well. I appreciate you taking your time to just even set up an interview with me or even reaching out to me at all. Like
Yeah.
that just means the world. Absolutely.
No, of course. Y'all heard his handles. You can go type in Hazel Bloom anywhere and pretty much find that man. Just like you can type in ACK and search that up, you'll find us anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's super, super talented, got a lot of great songs. That was Life that we just heard. That was on one of your album, correct?
Yeah, my first EP I put out. It's called Space Between Words on a Page.
All right, perfect. So you guys can go listen to that full EP. He has a couple of great singles out too. Super, super talented. And again, man, just thank you so much for coming on and taking the time to do this.
Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
No, of course. So that kind of concludes another episode of the Spotlight series hosted by yours truly, ACK. Y'all know the drill at this point is every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we got a new artist or artists. You never know who's going to be on here. You never know what you're going to see, what you're going to listen to. So stay tuned for next week, and thanks for tuning in.